I'm making another tutorial on Soundation. Congrats. It's not for any. It's not because I want to make this. It's just to help. All right, so we're gonna go over VA synths. I'm just gonna get into it. VA synths are basically the synth that you can do. They're just like simple synths, more complicated, and they just do that. All right, so first things first, you can go with a lot of. You have a lot of choices. It doesn't really matter what you choose, because it does matter what you choose. Some sound really cool, and some don't. It depends on your personal choice what you want to make. They have a lot of things, and you can just tweak them around, and it's really useful. Shut up, FM synth users. I don't give a shit. So let's just go over it. So this is going to be our. So let's just start with what the knobs do. So this is the basic. That's what the VA synth sounds like normally. Did I say it? No, I did not. All right, sorry about that. Let me quickly switch back. All right, here we go. That's what it sounds like normally. You can use this as a arpeggio thing. Or not arpeggio, sorry, a synthwave thing. But forgetting about the fact, like if you turn the cutoff off, you can make it synthwave. It's a very synthwavy thing. But let's just start with the basics. So, what do all these knobs do? All right. So first we have the OSC1, OSC2. What this does is it changes. So VA synth is composed of two oscillation things. I don't know what the OSC, I think it's oscillation though. And basically it runs two different sounds at the same time. And what OSC1 and what OSC2 means, it stands for we're going to change both of those OSCs. You can tell that it's run by two OSCs because of OSC. So you have your basic OSC, which is OSC1, and then OSC2 you can just whatever, just First things first, the octave. What that does is it changes the octave. I don't need to say much. If I did 1, now it's higher. If I did it again, so it just changes the thing. Let's keep it at 1. What tune is, it's legit what it sounds like. You just tune it by sense. Now it's slightly higher, right? And it sounds like shit. Okay. I normally keep this at 0 unless I'm doing a weird thing where I have both one at -8 and one at +8. It's a double thingy. But that's what OSC1, OSC2 does. That's what they stand for. They just change the pitch and the tuning, and they just change both of them. Okay, OSC2 is talking about the second oscillation mark. So first let's start with level, because I think that's the most basic one. Level basically controls how loud OSC2 is compared to level 1. OSC2, if it's at 100, that means OSC1, it's going to sound exactly as loud as OSC1. If I did it to 50, then it would sound 50% as loud as OSC1, and then so on and so forth. So let's keep it at 100 so you can hear both. And what OSC2 does is it runs a different melody, not melody, it runs a different note. So if I were to do that, so what chorus is basically, it changes the notes of OSC2. It's set to -11 right now, but what that really means, it's an octave lower than OSC1. If I did this, it's 2 octaves lower than OSC1. If I did this, 2 octaves higher than OSC1. It's so forth and so on. If let's listen to the difference when I do this versus when I do. Fuck. Sorry, the stupid synth is bullshit. Work, please. Okay, hold on. There we go. Okay, now it's working. Now, it's the same octave, okay? And if I did all 24, it's 2 octaves higher. So that's what a chorus does. It just changes, what the thing can do. You can go 3, you can go 6, you can go, but mostly you just go 12 because it sounds cool like that. Fine is basically the exact same thing as OSC1's tune. It just changes the thing of it, and it sounds horrible. You can do a bottom 20 to 30 fine for countering noise, but I hate that noise, so I don't do it. But yeah, so I keep that at 0 normally. Work! But that's what OSC2 does. And I normally keep coarse at +12 because it gives it a little counter thing. And I keep it lower than 100. And what noise does not affect OSC2. It says OSC2, but it really affects both of them. What noise does, it controls the amount of white noise you get. So you turn noise up and it goes like that. You turn noise down and it goes. You turn noise even lower and it goes. So like that. You can use it to create basically sort of wavy noises, filler noises, essentially. so your ears can listen to something other than music the entire time. All right, next we move on to the filter. What filter does, and it just filters the music. So cutoff essentially it does how much synth does your synth get. Hey, let's get rid of envelope for now. Like if you had a low cutoff, you get a low sound. Like it's very soft, it's sort of siny. Yeah, I think you can hear that, yeah. When you add cutoff, it's not really a volume thing. It's not changing the volume of the synth, it's changing how much sound it's getting. Get that? Alright, cool. Resolution basically makes your sound go like that, and I don't like having resolution on my songs. It makes it sound like it's like a spaceship, or an alien spaceship song or something. You can use it. I think resolution is good. I just don't like using it because I don't know how. Envelope, it basically makes your cutoff. It's like higher cutoff, but just weirder. Like this is what 100% envelope sounds like, right? But when you listen to the 100% cutoff, it sounds slightly different, even though it sounds the exact same. Envelope is basically cutoff, but weirder. If you turn envelope off, it does even weirder shit. Yeah, so envelope is really one to watch out for. But a proper amount of envelope compared to, like, if you have a low amount of cutoff and a lot of envelope, you can create some cool sounds like this. So I like to use envelope a lot. And when I'm making a song with automation on, I tend to use envelope instead of cutoff because envelope creates a more robust sound, if you know what I'm saying. Velocity just that's the volume button. It controls your volume. I don't need to say anything else. That's all it does. It makes it just stronger, weaker, blah blah blah. Okay. And then we move on to envelopes and amps. The top one, I don't actually know too much about the top one, so I'm not going to talk about them. If you know what the top ones do, my guess is that they basically, they basically enhance the bottom one. And the bottom one, I know what I'm talking about. Because like if I change these, they're not going to be much difference. Or there could be actually. Okay, the attack actually does something. Never mind. So if you do full attack, you can hear that. It goes and full attack this. Oh, okay, so it does. Okay, so basically it just amplifies the bottom. Okay, that makes sense. So the amps are the basic filters, if you will. You put them through them, and they just change how basically what these amps do. They change how the sound is made and put out. Attack makes it go like it shifts the volume, so it goes like that instead of just straight up hitting it. So if you had this, it just goes in, and then this one's like that. It makes it like a weird soft. And if you did this, it just creates like a rising. But anyway, ignoring, I don't know much about filters, so I'm not going to talk about them. Decay is basically louder sustain. Sustain basically makes how long your note goes, or how loud your note goes. If you had 0 sustain, that's what it sounds like. If you had like very little sustain, you would get the beginning note, and then you would get very, very soft sustaining notes. If you had 100, it would be the same volume no matter what. Decay is basically sustain, but weirder. So I don't know much to say about it. Release is probably the most basic to use. It basically shows how long your sound keeps playing after you've released it. That's what it's called, release. Okay, no release, your sound comes out immediate. It stops immediately. If you had release, I lied. I'd have to add filter. So adding release is cool. Filters, I don't know exactly what they do, that's why I'm not talking about them again, but I would always recommend putting them upwards, because say if I got rid of this release, see how bad that sounds, and I add this, it sounds good. So I know what they do, I just don't know what they do. They just amplify the amps, I guess. They make the amps work. That's cool. Okay, let's move on to glide next. It's called glide, but I don't really consider it glide. What this does is it bends the sound. It's super stupid. I don't use bend ever in my life. I don't like using bend ever in my life, so just ignore that. And there's two forms of glide. There's poly and mono. Poly adds release. I think poly has the envelopes and mono doesn't. Oh no, it actually creates a mono sound, never mind. So poly basically creates like a multiple oscillation sound like this. Okay, I don't think I'm going to turn the cutoff off so it sounds better. See that? And then when you turn on mono, see, notice how it sounds like 1, 2. That's what mono and poly stand for. Poly stands for multiple, mono stands for 1. And basically, I don't know if it changes oscillation or something, but it basically makes your lead sound like it's 1 now instead of 2. But mono actually can sound very, very good, when especially in a starting or a very fixated thing. So I use mono. I'd like to switch between poly and mono a lot using automation. The rest are legato and glide. Legato basically makes your things sound kind of smoothly together, like that. Wait, hold on, let me turn off the envelope. Fucking envelope. And glide just does that, but even more. When you turn the rate up, the rate controls how much legato / glide you're getting. You should keep it at 50 max, because if you go too far, that happens, and legato. And that, yeah, it's just stupid. But I don't normally use that, but I have won a contest using polyglide, so that's fun. That's kind of what glide is. And finally, there's LFO. LFO is what you... Well, LFO, this controls the amount of whir you're getting. So if I had no whir, it's just a soft, smooth sound. Like that. Vibrato, it's so getting the right amount of LFO, I don't really care. I don't give a shit about LFO. Vibrato, it's, you know what vibrato is. No, vibrato, you know what that is. I think you know what that is. Vibrato makes it shift around. You can do this, and then filter is whatever that is. It just makes everything way worse than it needs to be. But add filter to amplify on your things. Like if I had no filter, then the LFO would just go. But if I had filter, it sounds like a sidechain or something. I don't know what sidechains are. But that's basically what all of them do. And depending on your preset, you could change them around. So I was using the default preset, and I can. Each one of them have different sets, but they are all different instruments. That's what you need to understand. You won't be able to recreate the same instrument with another instrument, because the VA synth is basically, it's like an amp. Okay, it's you can this is used to change the sound, but the basic sound will always be there, and that's why you need to find the perfect one that you like. Like I really like using lo-fi keys, and then making it into like this. This is my favorite instrument. That's why if you listen to my songs, I use this instrument a whole lot. But turn that down, turn that up, turn that down, turn that down. Okay. Oh, whatever. But this one I like to use a lot. You won't be able to recreate this. Well, you can because it's all cut off, but the point is you won't be able to do it very well. And so that's what VA synth is basically. And I have to go now because someone rang the door.